Hey guys, this is ITower. Last time we used a word called let without really stopping to explain it, and honestly, we could have used a completely different word called var instead, and that first program would have run exactly the same way. So here's a question wars actually sitting with. If two different keywords can do the same basic job, why does JavaScript even have three of them? Var, let, and const? And why does almost every style guide and every senior developer tell beginners to basically forget var exists the moment they learn it? The answer isn't really about which one is newer, it's about a handful of genuinely strange behaviors buried inside var that caused real, hard to track bugs for years, and understanding exactly what those behaviors are is what today is actually about. If you are building real understanding here, instead of just memorizing rules, sticking around and subscribing means you catch the rest of this in order. Let's start with the strangest one first, because seeing this behavior firsthand is honestly the fastest way to understand why var fell out of favor. All we need for this is a plain pair of curly braces. Nothing more. JavaScript lets you group a few lines together into what's called a block, just by wrapping them like this. No special keyword required. Look closely at where a favorite color actually gets created. It's sitting inside that little block of curly braces, which feels like it should mean this value only exists inside that block. But run this, and that console.log line prints blue without any error at all, even though we are reaching for this variable from completely outside the block it was declared in. That's because var doesn't actually care about blocks like this one. Curly braces on their own don't contain it at all. var only respects the boundaries of an entire function, or the entire file if it's not inside a function. This is called function scoping, and while it might look harmless in this tiny example, imagine this same pattern buried inside a much bigger program, a variable meant to be temporary and local to one small piece of logic quietly leaking out and potentially colliding with some other variable that happens to share its name somewhere else in that same function. Now let's watch let fix exactly this problem. Same exact code. The only thing that changed is swapping var for let, and this time running it throws a real error, telling you favorite color simply isn't defined out here. And that error is actually a good thing. It's JavaScript correctly enforcing what should have been true the whole time. This variable was only ever meant to exist inside that block, and the moment you step outside those curly braces, it's genuinely gone. This is called block scoping, and it's the behavior most other modern programming languages have always had. JavaScript's var was really the unusual one here, not the other way around. There's a second strange behavior hiding in var, one that's honestly even more surprising the first time you see it. Read this top to bottom the way we talked about last video, and you'd probably expect this to throw an error, since we're trying to use greeting on a line that comes before we've even declared it. But run this, and instead of an error, you get something stranger. It prints out a value called undefined, no crash, just this odd placeholder value. What's actually happening here is called hoisting, and specifically for var, JavaScript quietly moves the declaration itself up to the very top of its scope behind the scenes, before running anything else, but it leaves the actual assignment, the part that sets it to hide there, sitting exactly where you wrote it. So by the time that first line runs, the variable technically already exists, it's just sitting there completely empty. Swap that same code to use let instead, and this time you get a real, loud error. One specifically telling you greeting can't be accessed before it's actually been initialized. Let and const still technically get hoisted in a sense, but they land in what's called a temporal dead zone, meaning JavaScript knows the variable exists somewhere further down, but it deliberately refuses to let you touch it until execution actually reaches the line where it's declared. This is a genuinely bad failure. Silently handing you an undefined value can mask a real bug for a long time, while a hard error the moment you misuse something points you directly at the actual mistake. Now let's talk about the difference between let and const specifically, since that's the choice you'll actually be making constantly in real code. Run this, and JavaScript stops you immediately, throwing an error that says pretty plainly that you're trying to assign a new value to something that's meant to be constant. That's the entire point of const. Once you've set a value, that specific binding simply cannot be reassigned to something else afterward. Let, on the other hand, is perfectly happy being reassigned as many times as you want after it's first declared, which is exactly why we used let for user age and username back in the last video, in case you ever wanted to update either of them later on. Here's the part that trips people up though, and it's worth clearing up directly, because const doesn't mean quite what people assume the first time they hear the word. This runs completely fine, no error at all, and the array actually does grow to include cats by the end. That might look like a contradiction with what we just said about const, but it isn't, because const isn't actually protecting the contents sitting inside a value, it's only protecting which value that variable name is pointing at in the first place. This variable is still pointing at the exact same array the entire time. We never tried to make favorite things point at some completely different array. We just reached into the one it's already pointing at and changed what's inside it. The rule with const is really about preventing reassignment of the binding itself, not about making everything inside it permanently frozen. There's one more genuinely famous var quirk worth seeing directly, because it's exactly the kind of thing that used to show up in real job interviews specifically to test whether someone actually understood this, and we can see it clearly just by writing out a few of those bare blocks from earlier, back to back. Run this, and you'd probably expect 3 separate messages, 1, 2, and 3, since each block looks like it's declaring its own fresh version of count. But what actually prints 3 separate times is var says 3. Because var ignores these blocks completely the same way it did earlier, there's really only ever one single count shared across all 3 of these blocks, each one just reassigning that same variable in turn, one after another, and by the time these slightly delayed messages actually fire a moment later, every block has already finished running, leaving count sitting at its final value of 3 for every single one of them. Swap every var for let in that same structure, and now it prints 1, 2, and 3, exactly the way you'd naturally expect. Because let is properly scoped to each individual block, every single one of these 3 blocks creates its own completely separate count, entirely independent of the other 2, and each delayed message correctly remembers a specific value that belonged to its own particular block. This exact mismatch, var quietly sharing one variable where you expected several separate ones, is responsible for a genuinely huge number of confusing bugs in real JavaScript code written before let existed, and it's one of the clearest, most concrete reasons the language moved away from var in the first place. So here's a practical rule that comes out of everything we just walked through, and it's honestly this simple. Reach for const as your default for basically everything, since most values in a well-written program never actually need to be reassigned, and let compiler and future readers know that immediately. Reach for let specifically when you already know a value is going to change later on, a counter, a running total, something that's meant to be updated as your program runs. And var, at this point, is really only something worth recognizing when you're reading all the code someone else wrote years ago, not something you should be reaching for yourself in anything you write going forward. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.